Welcome to the complete guide on ASP.NET Core Razor Pages. My name is Brugane and I will be your instructor for this course. .NET Core has been evolving drastically and the preferred web application in .NET Core is now Razor Pages. This course is focused on giving you the complete guide on what Razor Pages are. We will start by creating a basic project to perform the CRUD operations. Once we are solid with the foundation, files and folder structure, then we will build a real-world project using Razor Pages in .NET 6. But before anything, there are some prerequisites when it comes to any course. For this course, you should have a basic knowledge of C# and SQL language. I would say about 6 months of experience in both of the language is sufficient to learn .NET Core with Razor Pages. You do not need any prior knowledge about .NET Core or Razor Pages. We will start from scratch with everything else. That being said, let's take a look at what are the topics that we will cover throughout the course. The first thing is of course the file and folder structure when it comes to a .NET Core application. But when we move on to building the real-world project, the main topic that we will cover is n-tier architecture. All of the complex real-world projects have multiple tiers to organize the code in much cleaner way. We will be using Entity Framework Core for database, but in a large application that is broken down into a repository pattern using unit of work. Then we will understand temp data, view data, and view bags in .NET Core and when you should use or avoid them. We will also see how to add API controllers with Razor Pages. We will implement some rich functionalities like Suite Alerts, Toaster Notification, Rich Text Editor, and data tables with .NET Core. We will be adding authentication in our project using the scaffold identity, which is a Razor class library. Then we will add authorization and we will have multiple roles in our website. We will be also capturing payments and refunds in our website using Stripe. So we will see how to integrate that in a .NET Core application. We will also see sessions in .NET Core and send emails using SMTP as well as SendGrid. I will cover how to integrate social logins using Facebook. We will also look at some of the advanced topics like view components in .NET Core and how to see database using a DB initializer class. Once we cover all of these topics, then the final project that we will have, we will deploy that to Azure and see everything in action. On top of that, my main focus is not just to teach you. I also want you to encounter common errors in .NET Core and how to solve those errors. So I intentionally introduce some of the common errors and then I will show you how to solve them as well. We will have many assignments throughout the course so you can practice while we are learning .NET Core with Razor Pages. We have a lot to cover in this course, so join me in this exciting course on Razor Pages, and in the next video I will show you the final application that we will be building. Let's first take a look at the final application that we will be building. First thing that you should notice here is application is hosted on Azure, and if you navigate to this URL, you will be able to play around with the application. This is an application for a restaurant where they have all the menu items on appetizer, entree, and dessert. So user can browse through that on the home page and they can add items to the shopping cart to place an order. If you click on the info icon here, I display all of the different roles that we have, and I have also created a login for you to play around with the common password of admin123 star. So first, let's place an order as the customer user that we have. If you do not want the default accounts, you can always register for a new account. If you go on the register page, you will notice we also have Facebook login if a user wants to use that. I already have an account, so let me log in. I will use the customer login that we have inside the help tip right here. So let's log into the customer account here. And once we log in, we can see the email address right here on the top and the logout button. We have all of the items here. We can add them to the shopping cart by clicking on the details button. We can increase the count if we want, and we can add few items. Then in the shopping cart, you can see the count here is increasing when we add the item. So if we click on the shopping cart, we see the summary of all the items that have been added. If you change the quantity here, you will notice that the total also changes. You can delete any of the item, and once everything looks good, you can click on the summary button to place an order. We have an order summary on the right hand side, and we'll have to enter the pickup date, pickup time, and additional instructions if we want. Once everything looks good, we will hit the place order, and it will redirect us to the Stripe payment to capture the credit card details. Right now we are in the test mode, so your actual credit card numbers will not work. You will have to use the test credit card numbers that we have with Stripe checkout. So we will use that here, and we will hit the pay button. That will process the credit card, and once that is done, it redirects us back to the application and it displays the order number. So perfect, that is the summary that we have when it comes to placing an order as a customer. Now once the order is placed, our application does not end there. We have admin portal where the order will be processed. If we go to the info icon, we have different roles. So front will be responsible when the order is ready, and kitchen will be responsible for actually cooking the order. Manager has access to both the functionalities, so let me log in as a manager and walk you through the functionality. You can use the manager email right here, but I have configured a different email as manager, so let me use that to log in. When we log in as a manager, you will see more options are available. Order list and manage order will also be available for kitchen user and front desk. But one thing that is different in manager is this admin tab where they can manage all the menu items or products they are selling. If we go on categories, they can perform CRUD operations like create a new category. We have some validations there. We also have display order. Based on that, it will notify that which category should be displayed first. Same things we have with food type where we have veg and non-veg, but the main one here is menu item. When we hit the create new menu item, you will notice it takes us to the page where we can populate all the information. We have a rich text area right here. They can select from category, food type, and when they hit create, we have some custom validation using Sweet Alert because image is needed. So they can perform those CRUD operations. They can either edit any of the menu item like update image or price, anything that they want. So those are the CRUD operations, but on top of that, admin can also register a new employee. On this page, you will see we have some radio buttons here to select what role the admin wants to give. They can create another manager, a kitchen user, or a front desk user. These features are not available if we log out and directly go on the register page. Default registration will always be end user. So that is some security that we have with registration. But that's all about managing the content on the website and users. What about the orders that have been placed? That can be managed by going to Manage Order. We have 2 orders in the website. This order number 3 is the order that we just placed. So when the kitchen user or chef starts to cook the order, they will change the status by clicking Start Cooking. As soon as they do that, the next status they can update it is Order Ready. So once the order is prepared and it is ready for pickup, they will mark this as Order Ready and it will disappear from the screen. So this screen is basically all the orders that needs to be cooked. Once they are ready for pickup, they won't be displayed on the screen. To see all of those orders, we will go to the order list page and you can see we have one order in process. Ready for pickup, we have a new tab and that is the order ID 3 that we just processed. So front desk or manager will come here, edit this order or go to the details. They can see the status here. They can either complete the order, cancel order, or even process a refund if the situation arises. Ideally, when someone comes to pick up the order, they will verify all the details here and mark the order as completed. Once that is done, the status will be updated to completed and now it will be available inside the completed tab. So with that, you can see we are building the complete flow from placing the order all the way till the order is picked up and completed. So again, you can go to this URL and play around with the website if you want. But from the next video, let's start our journey by learning about the basics of .NET Core. Let me walk you through all the tools that are needed for this course. We will be building our application using .NET 6. So you can either go to Microsoft website and install that, or if you install Visual Studio 2022, it should be installed with that. That being said, the IDE that we will be using will be Visual Studio 2022. So make sure to install the latest version of that along with SQL Server Management Studio for our database. If you have an older version of SSMS or SQL Server, that's okay. It will be compatible with our Visual Studio. So as long as you have all of these softwares, let's continue from the next video. For all the project resources, you will go to one location, which is .NETmastery.com. Right here, when you go on the courses, you will have all the courses right here. So scroll down to the course that you are enrolled in and you will go to the Details tab. Right here, I have multiple links that are available. The first one here is Live Preview. When you click there, it will take you to the live preview of the website that we will be building in this course. I will have instructions here on how you can try that using different roles that we will build. So this is the live preview of the final website. You can play here and see what exactly we are building. You can also compare everything with templates when we will be designing few things. That way you will have an idea of what the page will look like and how it will function. If we go back to .NET Mastery, we have GitHub code as well. So all of my code will be hosted on GitHub repository, and here I will have commits based on section and the lecture name. So you can click there and you can see exactly what was updated in that lecture. That way, if something is not working, you will know exactly what needs to be changed and compare your previous code with the new code that you have. If we go back to .NET Mastery, I also have a link to download all the course content. Make sure to download this folder because inside there you will have all the snippets as well as the PowerPoint presentation. Inside the attachments, in section wise, you will have all the attachments that are needed. So make sure to download the course content, and with that, let's continue from the next video. In this video, I want to walk you through the journey of .NET Core. .NET Core is probably the biggest change that the .NET language has encountered. In 2002, Microsoft introduced web forms, which was a revolution at that time. Web forms has its drawbacks, and there was a need to overcome all of them. Because of that, the .NET team came up with a new architecture, which was .NET MVC. Now, even though I love MVC and I have built many applications in MVC, it had its flaws, like it was created on top of the components for web forms. Because of that, it was tied to IIS and ultimately Windows operating system. But with the evolution of web development, Microsoft had to keep up with the changing technology. Finally, in June of 2016, Microsoft released ASP.NET Core, and it was the first version. Now, .NET Core is built on top of the new .NET Core framework. It is completely rewritten, and it is a cross-platform version, hence it is not tied with Windows. Also, .NET Core was built with cloud in mind, so it is extremely robust with that. Then in August of 2018, Microsoft released .NET Core 2, and the team has been active with releasing new versions. There was a big change from .NET 2.1 to 2.2 because we had to update quite a few class libraries and there were few challenges. But since then, .NET Core team has been releasing new versions with 3, 3.1, and .NET 5, which was released in November of 2020. After that, there is .NET 6, which will be released in November of 2021. We will be using the preview version, but whatever we learn will be the same once .NET 6 is released. So this is a small overview of all the .NET frameworks and their evolution. That being said, why should one use .NET Core as compared to the classic .NET? .NET Core comes with many advantages. First one is ASP.NET Core is fast and open source. If you compare that to the traditional .NET applications, there have been quite a few benchmarks, and it is very fast when you compare that to web forms or even .NET MVC. .NET Core is also cross-platform. The classic .NET was tied to IIS and Windows, but since the .NET Core is rewritten, it has removed that dependency with .NET Core. We also have a built-in support for dependency injection, which saves a lot of time and it is extremely helpful. Once you get used with using dependency injection, you cannot imagine your application without that. With any programming language, it is critical that the new updates or the new version that are released, they should be easily upgradable. And that is one of the features with .NET Core. When a new version is released, updating to that new version does not have groundbreaking changes. Because of that, you can always keep up with the new versions. .NET Core is also cloud-friendly. When the .NET Core was being written, cloud architecture was kept in mind, and because of that, it is completely compatible with all of the cloud components. And lastly, when it comes to performance, .NET Core exceeds all of the previous versions, and even the new versions in .NET Core that are being released, they supersede the previous version. The code actually gets more optimized that results into improved performance. The ASP.NET Core compiler will eventually optimize the entire code whenever the code is recomposed using the .NET Core framework. .NET Core's actual performance is multiple times than any of the framework's previous implementation. Because of that, it is clear that Microsoft has a long-term plan with .NET Core technology. So with that brief overview, let's continue our learning in the next video.